There we go. A new week is upon us. We made it. Barely, but we made it. Happy Monday, 28th day of April 2025. I'm Dan Koontz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is 52 degrees here in the big city, a little on the breezy side, and that's going to be the story for the next 2 days. It's going to be, well, I think we can safely call it windy today, tonight, Tuesday, into Tuesday night. We calm down. Wednesday, Thursday looks fantastic. So does Friday, but wouldn't you know it, come Friday night, just in time for the second weekend, the big weekend of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. Things are going to cool down, could see a little bit of rain, nothing like we had last year when we had that deluge on parade day. That's not in the forecast, but it's going to be windy too this upcoming Saturday and Sunday. So the National Weather Service tells us. So briefly, windy today through Tuesday night, temperatures above normal, more sunshine than clouds. Wednesday, Thursday, most of Friday looks good. The weekend looks a little unsettled. All those details are coming up. And get ready for some wind. We had one rogue gust last night, about 7, up at Pangbourne, where they measure these things, close to 40 miles an hour. So, going to be windy. News, yes, sports, lots. Speaking of sports, we are, just about a month away from opening day of the Wenatchee Apple Sox. Friday, May 30th is when the Apple Sox open up their 25th season of baseball here in the Wenatchee Valley. And we spoke to the outgoing play-by-play guy, Joel Norman. He's currently in Lincoln, Nebraska, and courtesy of Zoom, we had a chance to speak to Joel, get you caught up on Apple Sox news. There's a lot of it. We'll have that for you in the back half of the program. It's a busy show. Let's go. Let's do our tour around the valley and get to that forecast, which everybody wants to know. Very, very sunny, very pleasant. It's mild, 52 degrees right now. We almost hit a record high on Saturday. Came close. We hit 80 on Saturday. Our record high on Saturday was 82. We just missed it. It was a beautiful day for the Technoplex Youth Parade. We had a good time. And then we cooled down a little bit on Sunday. We only hit 76, which is still above normal. Our normal high is 66. And we'll be above normal for most of this week until the weekend. So good morning to the valley. Camera 2, we are off to see Monitor. Hello, Monitor. You're looking good. Sunrise this morning was a 5:48. Sunset tonight, 8:09. I think we can safely call it night, which means this is the time of the year when I go to bed Monday through Friday. It's still daylight. 14 hours and 21 minutes of daylight for all of us today. Good morning to Monitor and the orchards sitting there and growing. Camera number 3. Well, the orchards don't grow. The things on the trees grow. There's that darn spider web again on our lower Chelan Butte camera. I got to get somebody up there to take care of that little problem. It's just a spider. It's not doing anybody any harm. Just drives me nuts. Look at the glare of the sun on the camera lens. Good morning to Chelan. Still not close to filling up the bathtub. It takes a while, but it should be up to full level, lake level, by Memorial Day weekend. That's usually what the PUD aims their goals at. All of it depends simply on the snow in the upper Cascades in British Columbia as it melts. And camera 4. Back up to Billy Goat we go. We have that tilted down just a little bit so we see a big swath of the Alta Lake area, the golf course, and the state park. You can see all of Pateras for the most part, and a good swath of the Methow River as it empties in to the Columbia. Omak right now, you're at 45 degrees. Not real windy up there. Omak may get a little rain tonight, maybe. We're not going to have any down here, we don't think, as the system passes through our area. That's why we're going to have some wind. It started to make itself felt late yesterday afternoon into the early evening hours. In fact, a couple of slides to show for you from the National Weather Service. This is peak wind gusts for today. Take a look at where you live. I live in the Wenatchee Valley, so peak wind gusts. This is sustained winds. This is wind gusts. 30 to 35 miles an hour expected in the Wenatchee Valley today. Not so bad up in the Omak-Winthrop area. The Cascades will be preventing you from getting a great deal of wind, but as usual, out in the Columbia Basin, getting a little breezy there, and of course Ellensburg too, quite windy in Ellensburg. This is peak wind gusts today. Tomorrow, pretty much the same. Peak wind gusts on Tuesday, about the same, a little breezier to the north of us in the Methow Valley and the Omak area. You're going to have a little bit more wind tomorrow than today, but everybody is going to be dealing with wind basically most of the day today, tonight, Tuesday, and Tuesday night before we calm down. On Wednesday from the National Weather Service, it looks something like this. Temperatures, nice, 70. We'll take that. We'll have lots of sunshine today. By mid-afternoon, you'll start seeing some clouds. And by sunset tonight, it will be fairly cloudy, but there's no real rain in the forecast today or tonight. We'll top off at about 70. And again, quite windy today and quite windy tonight with a few clouds, but we should be dry. Overnight low, it says 30. It's actually 50. That's a typo. The overnight low is going to be around 50 or so, give or take a couple. Tomorrow, we reverse it. We'll see clouds in the morning and sun in the afternoon, and a lot of wind and a high of about 68 degrees. The winds will begin to calm down Tuesday night, 44 for the overnight low. No complaints at all Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday as high pressure comes back in, a gradual warming trend. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday looks gorgeous from 73 to 77 to 80. And then, Friday night, we start talking about rain. 50 for the overnight low. There's about a 50% chance of rain Friday night into early Saturday morning. Should be dry for the Stamil Growers Grand Parade, but it's going to be considerably cooler and quite a bit of wind on Saturday and on Sunday. More wind, but at least no chance of rain. So a little unsettled, but certainly better this year than last year as far as the weather forecast is concerned for the big second weekend of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. A lot of news to get to, so we're not going to waste any time. Just a 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll have you that news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Central Washington Water is home to the Hot Spring Spa for over 45 years. Come see the Freshwater Smart IQ. It monitors your saltwater spa's pH balance, chlorine, and more. Or the cold plunge tub that will leave you feeling rejuvenated. Plug-and-play spas make hot tubbing easy. With great financing available, cold water, salt water, hot water, Central Washington Water has a spa for your budget and your lifestyle. Stop by today.
Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. TourMosesLake.com and start your adventure today.
52 degrees, lots of sunshine. Not real windy yet, but it's going to be windy this afternoon and all the way into Tuesday night before we warm up and then cool right back down for the weekend. 9 minutes after the hour, a 33-year-old Moses Lake man was killed and his passenger injured Friday in a one-vehicle collision near the Grant County town of Marlin. Sheriff's deputies say Don Terrell was driving a 1994 Mazda pickup north on Road W Northeast at a high rate of speed at about 3:30 in the morning on Friday. He allegedly failed to stop at the stop sign with State Route 28 East, lost control of the pickup, and rolled 4 times in the sagebrush on the west side of the road. Terrell was not wearing a seatbelt. He was ejected and pronounced dead at the scene. His passenger, a 39-year-old Richland woman, was also not wearing a seatbelt. She was transported by air ambulance to an out-of-the-area hospital. The Grant County Sheriff's Motor Traffic Unit is investigating the crash. A fire at an East Wenatchee recycling yard on Friday sent up black smoke for about an hour, and then firefighters got a handle on it. The fire at Wenatchee Valley Salvage and Recycling on Urban Industrial Way was reported about 2:30 on Friday afternoon. Douglas County officials said the fire involved diesel and hydraulic fluid and warned nearby residents to be aware of the smoke and close their windows if needed. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. Well, voters in Wenatchee will have their say on a 0.2% sales tax increase to pay for local road improvements. The Wenatchee City Council voted unanimously Thursday to put the question on the August 5th ballot. If it's approved, the transportation benefit charge would cost the average Wenatchee household an estimated $40 a year, and it would boost the city's budget for pavement preservation by about $4 million annually. The city plans to host a workshop on May 8th to outline how the new money from the tax would be spent. The tax boost would expire in 2026 unless it is reauthorized by the voters. The City of Wenatchee's major upgrade to the North Wenatchee Avenue and McKittrick Street intersection, it was known as Mega Kittrick, well, it won a national award in its cost category. The American Public Works Association named its Public Works Project of the Year among $5 million to $25 million small agency projects. The city combined 3 federal funding streams to add lanes and traffic lights around the intersection. Eventually, of course, it'll tie McKittrick Street into the Confluence Parkway project. Mega Kittrick cost about $6.4 million. Wenatchee Public Works Director Tom Wacholder announced the award at Thursday's City Council meeting.
This was a really good example for community relations and safety. So our team maintained access to all the business owners, at least one access point through the entire construction. And they worked well with the business owners, and that was really well received. And from a safety standpoint, that North Wenatchee Avenue corridor sees over 40,000 cars a day. And so that was a challenge, and they overcame those. And of course, they had the COVID-related project cost escalations. And finally, this was one of the first projects that had to adhere to the Build America, Buy America standards, and they were actually changing mid-project. So they really had to pivot and really do some innovative thinking to get through some of those challenges.
Chelan County's Public Works Department is directing visitors away from its transfer stations if you're getting rid of lithium batteries. Those batteries, which are found in just about everything, they pose an explosion hazard if they become overheated or crushed. On Thursday, lithium batteries were the source of 2 fires at the Dryden transfer station. That's because they were broken up by the garbage handling machinery. The best place to get rid of them if you have lithium batteries is the county's moderate risk waste facility on Highway 97A just north of Wenatchee. Waste managers encourage residents to never put lithium batteries in your regular trash. Cashmere High School senior Kate Jacobson is a 4.0 student and a multi-sport athlete, but she hasn't taken any classes in person at Cashmere High School, and because of that, Cashmere School District officials have determined that she is ineligible for valedictorian status. Well, after several months of back and forth between Jacobson, her parents, and the district, her family launched a lawsuit. It's going to be heard in Chelan County Superior Court this week. The district declined to comment on this story, citing ongoing litigation. NCWLIFE spoke with Kate and her mom, Pete, to learn more about the situation.
When COVID hit, we had 6 kids in the district, and the push was to put them all on screens. And I'm self-employed, my husband's self-employed, and so for us to manage 6 children on screens was just not something we could do. It was a tough decision, but we really had to do what was best for the kids, which is to get them in a classroom. And the private school offered an opportunity to return to a full-time in-class experience. So we really didn't feel like we had much choice. Kate, 8th grade, did Joyful Scholars, and so Joyful Scholars ends at the 10th grade. And so we knew she would finish there. But while she was there, she was thriving, and she was in this already kind of cohort model. And so for her to move out of that and then go back into the high school would have been more challenging at that time. So we let her finish it knowing she would go back to Cashmere for her 11th and 12th grade years. And Cashmere offers Running Start, so we knew that she would do Running Start. They said they didn't get any funding, so it didn't matter whether she enrolled as a homeschool student or a Cashmere student. We didn't realize it made a difference. She wanted to walk at graduation with her friends, and so we asked the school district if she could walk at graduation with her friends, and they said no, she's not an enrolled student. So we said fine, we'll go ahead and enroll her, which required her to jump through a number of hoops in order to graduate through Cashmere. She had to get more credits in certain classes. She had to do community service. She had to take CWP, which is current world problems. She had to do a senior project and a senior presentation. I have an email, so I can't really quote it, but it was basically she doesn't meet the requirements for valedictorian based on past practices. They said that all prior valedictorians had attended Kashmir in person for at least one semester, and since she hadn't done an in-person in Kashmir, that she didn't qualify. And once we got the formal denial, I attempted to point out that their denial was in error because the way it was written, and they had stated that they had this policy. We'd done some public records requests that indicated there was no policy. We offered to mediate. We offered to would they consider conferring valedictorian upon Kate quietly, meaning she gets no recognition on the program at graduation. She doesn't give a speech at graduation. She doesn't necessarily even have to attend graduation, but that she gets it quietly conferred upon her so that she can use it in her official applications for colleges and scholarships. Their response was, your only recourse is through Superior Court. And so we proceeded because that's our only recourse.
My freshman, sophomore year, I would have tried to do something differently, but it's hard now because they say that I can't be a valedictorian because I didn't attend Kashmir before my senior year for at least one semester. So I can't change anything now, but if I had known, I would have really tried to be able to be eligible for this. I'm not against the Kashmir School District. I just feel like I've worked really hard and I earned this. It's an uncomfortable situation and I wish it wasn't happening, but it is.
And that is the news on this Monday. The news tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on TV, 5, 6, and 10 right here on the NCWLIFE channel, available on the web right around 5 o'clock by going to our homepage, NCWLIFE.com, our Facebook page, our YouTube page. And to get a hold of us, you send us an email, news@NCWLIFE.com. Good weekend for the Mariners. We'll tell you about it next. You're watching Wake Up in Wanche Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
The family at the Epidalan want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epidalan offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epidalan welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epidalan Independent and Assisted Living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. It's time to enjoy one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCWLIFE. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
Sports. Cal Raleigh tied for the Major League lead. He hit his 10th home run. Logan Evans won his Major League debut. Mariners beat the Marlins 7-6 yesterday. Seattle has won 6 straight series, 12 of their last 16, and they're now all by themselves in first place in the AL West.
Nobody on and 2 out, just underway. as Ramirez rips one towards the gap, high and deep, left center field, gone, goodbye. Ramirez with his second major league homer and his second here in the series.
Remember the scouting report that I just said?
Yes.
Keeps the ball in the ballpark? Can I change that one?
You may. Boy, this kid's got some serious juice. He's now 8 for 15 to start his career with 6 extra base hits, including a pair of homers.
Cal Raleigh, fly ball, lofted right field, number 10, inbound, gone. Goes after the first pitch, ground ball sharply hit right side and through. Crawford is in to score. Mastravoni races home, throw to second, safe at second base. Rivas is all right there. The Mariners have extended the lead. Now it's 3-1. This is into center field. Base hit finds the gap. Rivas rounds third base. Julio full steam ahead. Now getting held. The slide by Polanco. He's safe at second base. And the Mariners tack on another. Who else? Jorge Polanco. 2-2. Right back up the middle into center field. Base hit. Rivas wheeling around third base. And he scores standing. My goodness. Jorge Polanco. It is just one hit after another. He has made it a 5-1 Mariners lead.
Man, this is a slaughter again. This is Max Muncy's best pitch.
The envelope a little bit more in the running game. Clobbered right field. J.P. Crawford leaning hard into this one. It is gone. A 2-run blast.
He leaves in line for a victory as the 2-2 is hit a mile to left field. Forget about it. Ramirez, it's his second home run of the day. This kid is something else, Nelly.
A hanging slider from Snyder. And Arozarena, the left fielder, he took one quick step back and he said, forget about it. I'm not going back to the wall.
There's a swing and a drive in the air, left field and deep. Connor Norby with a 3-run shot here in the top of the 8th. And just like that, it's 7-6. And for Connor Norby, it's his first home run of the season.
Well, you were wondering when that power was going to come back with Connor Norby. He had a great day. He was 2 for 3 before that at bat. Breaks his bat, saws him off. Rivas right there, and the Mariners win it. They have taken the series, and the Seattle Mariners are truly one of the hottest teams in baseball.
Mariners have a quick 2-game series with the Angels at home. It starts tomorrow with Bryce Miller facing the Angels' Jack Kokonowitz. All right, to the scoreboard we go. The Mariners are all by themselves in first place because the Rangers lost to the Giants 3-2. It took 10 innings for the A's to beat the White Sox, Astros over the Royals, and the Twins beat the Angels. Sticking with baseball, your prep scoreboard on Friday. Eastmont sweeps, Moses Lake sweeps, Warden sweeps, but they had a split between Tenasket and Lake Roosevelt. That was Friday. Saturday in baseball, Wenatchee won a single game against Stanwood, Chelan, Cashmere, and Sela. All sweep on Saturday. More prep baseball Saturday. There were so many scores, we had to do 2 slides. It was a split between Brewster and Manson, but Liberty Bell, no problems in sweeping Okanagan. Prep softball on Friday. Eastmont sweeps Sunnyside. Moses Lake sweeps Davis. Wow. Cashmere sweeps Connell. Big scores there. More prep softball on Friday. Chelan sweeps, Cascade sweeps, Lake Roosevelt and Tenasket split their doubleheader. More prep softball on Saturday. Prosser sweeps, Liberty Bell and Okanagan splits. Brewster sweeps over Manson by big scores. Prep soccer on Friday. Wenatchee continues their hold on first place in the Big 9. They took care of West Valley. Davis beat Moses Lake, Cashmere over Zilla. And prep soccer on Saturday. Your winners, Manson, Cascade, Omak, Prosser, East Valley, Brewster, and Bridgeport. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. Happy National Superheroes Day today. Not surprisingly, this obscure holiday was created by Marvel Comics. So somewhere in there, if you have a cartoon superhero, that person is representative. Why Batman got stuck in the middle, I don't know. I thought Batman was a DC Comics one. I'm not 100% sure. But if you have a superhero in your world, today is your day. I don't have one. Don't plan on getting one. Today in history, let's play Guess That Flag. That flag is way too busy for me. Maryland, of course, is 237 years old today. They became the 7th state to ratify the Constitution on the state in 1788. It's known as the Old Line State. Maryland has the highest median household of any state, so they're number one in making money. And Baltimore is the largest independent city in the U.S. It doesn't sit inside the confines of any county. And in case you're curious, the official state sport of Maryland is jousting, which they don't do much around here anymore. Happy 237th birthday to Maryland. The mutiny on the Bounty occurred 1 year later, and Maryland wasn't told about it. Lieutenant William Bly and 18 sailors were set adrift on a lifeboat, and the rebel crew returns to Tahiti, and then they move on to Pitcairn Island. And to this day, there are about 50 direct descendants of the Bounty mutineers living on Pitcairn Island. It's amazing that William Bly even got his sailors back to dry land. They thought they were dead people. They weren't. 236 years ago today. Muhammad Ali refuses his induction into the United States Army on this date in 1967, and because of that, his championship is stripped by all of the governing bodies, and worse than that, he lost his license to fight. So not only do they say you're not the champion anymore, now you can't work either. Granted, Muhammad Ali had an interesting job. He beat people up for a living, but he wasn't even allowed to do that because he said he ain't gonna kill anybody. That was on the state 58 years ago today. We're just gonna show you the photo of what happened in Hawaii on this date in 1988, but that doesn't do it justice. Here's the news report.
Around 2 in the afternoon on April 28, 1988, Aloha Airlines Flight 243 makes an emergency landing at Kahului Airport on Maui.
What really got us was people strapped in the seats, not moving. They're just arms dangling in the air, hair flying in the wind.
The top of the Boeing 737 peeled back like a canned good, turning the plane into a convertible. The plane had left Hilo and was heading to Honolulu when about 20 minutes into the flight, there was what sounded like an explosion. Flight attendant Clarabelle C.B. Lansing was sucked out of the plane. She had been with Aloha Airlines for 37 years. The plane landed at Kahului Airport about 10 minutes later. 60 people were taken to the hospital. Lansing's body was never recovered. The other 4 crew members survived, as well as all of the 89 passengers, thanks to Captain Bob Schornsteimer and First Officer Mimi Tompkins.
The way the plane was and the way he landed it was so perfect that if it's one mistake, the thing could have just broke right in half.
Mostly skill and partly luck, a major disaster averted. Certainly a day people in Hawaii won't ever forget.
Yeah, 737s are not supposed to be convertibles. Let's do some birthdays. We always do presidents. James Monroe, the 5th president of the United States, the author of the Monroe Doctrine, the last president who served in the Revolutionary War. He was the last president never to be photographed. He was the only president, besides George Washington, to run unopposed. He was considered a dead ringer for Washington. Now, everybody who knew both James Monroe and George Washington said James Monroe looks a lot like George. Both his wife and his 2 daughters were beautiful, elegant, and arrogant, and they spent all of his money. When James Monroe died, shortly before he died in 1831, Congress appropriated James Monroe $30,000 so when he died, he wouldn't die broke. They just gave it to him. James Monroe, born in the state in 1758, and Margaret, 84 years old today. She was born in Sweden. Her father moved to the United States, and then she was about 5. He sent for Anne Margaret. The very first day she arrived in New York City, he took her to a show at Radio City Music Hall, and she said, "This is what I want to do." Anne Margaret is 84. Jay Leno, 75 years old today. He has 286 vehicles, 285 more than I have. And John Daly, the legendary golfer, is 58 years old today. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Mike Minotti has got an opinion on the agenda, and then we chat via Zoom with Joel Norman. It's time to talk about Apple Sox baseball. Opening day is about a month away. Joel joins me when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Celebrate Apple Blossom with the Stamil Grand Parade Saturday, May 3rd at 11 a.m. on the NCWLIFE channel. Coverage is brought to you in part by our platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington, Boswell's Home Furnishings, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Mary Mays, Together for Youth, and the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Watch the Stamil Grand Parade Saturday, May 3rd on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel. Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. Tour moseslake.com and start your adventure today.
Celebrate this great country during Rockfest in Rock Island the last Saturday in June. Great music, great bands, great fun. It all happens at the Rock Island Golf Course. Mark your calendars and be prepared for family fun entertainment and live music until the fireworks start crackling. Contact info@rlstalent.com if you would like to help sponsor this event or bring your awesome food truck. Space is limited. Rockfest at the Rock Island Golf Course, June 28th.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, regarding their success in earning money, I have heard people say that I've worked hard for what I have, and I deserve my financial success. Well, I do commend such folks, and I'm a believer in hard work, but let's be honest. A major factor in our financial success in this society is that we exist in a very blessed economic system. If it was hard work alone that guaranteed financial success, the richest people in the world would very likely be women in sub-Saharan Africa or some other such place. Now, let's admit it. Hard work may be a contributing factor in making a lot of money, but it is certainly not a universal guarantee that because I worked hard, I deserve to have more money than someone else. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Celebrate Apple Blossom with a Classy Chassis Parade on Friday, May 2nd at 6 p.m. on the NCWLIFE channel. Coverage is brought to you in part by our platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington, Boswell's Home Furnishings, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Mary Mays, Together for Youth, and the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Watch the Classy Chassis Parade Friday, May 2nd at 6 p.m. on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel.
Right now at Lehwab Tires, it's the Best for Less sales event. Save up to $120 instantly on a set of 4 tires. Choose from a wide selection of our longest-lasting, best-performing tires, and every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty. With a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. It's our best deal on our best tires with the best service in the business. Get more from less.
Great glorious spring, Wenatchee Valley. Collins Fashions is your go-to lady shopping experience in downtown Wenatchee. Special occasion dresses are arriving daily for moms, grandmothers, and friends and family. Sundresses, capris, tees, tanks, shorts, skirts hit the floor. Trusted quality brands such as Tribal, Charlie B, French Dressing Cut, and Liverpool. Comfy and cute sandals from Soft, Bueno, Volatile, Fly London, to name a few. Brighten Mother's Day with a gift from Collins in downtown Wenatchee.
When you enjoy Abies Pizza at your place, close your eyes and you can taste old-fashioned values, classic pizza parlor decor, and generations of tradition. Recreate that magic. Open your eyes and head to Abies.com. With pickup and delivery options, no matter where you dine, Abies just tastes better. This is Skinny, and he helped found Abies 60 years ago. In honor of Skinny, we're putting his favorite pizza on sale. Savory pizza sauce, Canadian bacon piled to the edge, and juicy tomatoes make this a very special pizza. Order your Skinny special right now at Abies.com.
From the My Does Time Fly department, we're about a month away from opening day of the Wenatchee Apple Sox. Getting ready to ply their trade at Paul Thomas Senior Field, a brand new field. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. It's their 25th anniversary. Of course, they started in 1999, but they didn't play in COVID, so technically this is their 25th year. And joining me again from the palatial Norman Estate via Zoom in Lincoln, Nebraska, is our good buddy Stormin Joel Norman, who does double duty when he's not in Wenatchee. He's in Lincoln calling a pretty darn good hockey team. First of all, Joel, how are you?
Doing well, Dan. Happy to be chatting with you. It's always fun to be able to talk a little bit of baseball, especially as starting to get into that mindset this time of the year, aren't we?
Well, let's talk a little hockey first. Just a quick little shop talk. For those of you who don't know, I think most of you do, Joel spends his winter months in Lincoln, Nebraska. He calls all the action for the Lincoln Stars, who right now are making a deep run into their respective playoffs. You must be liking this. Are you getting used to calling winners, first the Apple Sox and now the Stars?
It's kind of fun just bleeding over from one championship contender into another. The Apple Sox, obviously, we had that great summer last year, an out away from winning the title. And here I've been with the Stars, and we had the best record in our conference in the regular season, in our entire league, rather, of the 16 teams. So that was really cool. And then just, jumping right into a playoff run here, where we're today, the time you and I are talking, we're opening up our Western Conference Finals at home here tonight. So it's the playoffs, whether it's baseball or hockey, there's nothing like it, and it is always fun to work for a winner. I've been blessed with a lot of success with that, really primarily post-pandemic. I was counting it up the other day, and between my hockey and baseball seasons, ever since what would have been the spring of 2022, I did hockey playoffs, made those all 4 years I've been in it, and I've won at least one series all 4 years I've done hockey. And Apple Sox, obviously 3 straight years making the playoffs. So that's a combined 7 consecutive seasons between hockey and baseball in which my teams I work for made the playoffs. And it's I think, as anyone knows as a broadcaster, you really enjoy it a lot more when your team is winning.
And you get fatter paychecks, but that's another story altogether. Let's talk about Mitch Darlington. It was a great year last year, all the way to the championship against the Portland Pickles, as you already mentioned. It didn't quite pull it off. So let's talk about the roster. First of all, shortly after the season ended last year in the middle of August, Mitch sat down with the players who were eligible to come back for the 2025 season for the Apple Sox, who might be interested in rejoining the team. And he did pretty good, didn't he?
Yeah. He certainly has brought back some really good returners for this summer's team. And I think a lot of fans are going to be excited to see again. Evan Cloyd, who was the team's regular first baseman in the second half last year, just an on-base machine. I think there was at one point, I can't remember the exact number, but I think it was over 30 consecutive games at one point where he reached base safely with either a walk, a hit, or a hit by pitch. So that's going to be a nice stable bat to have in the middle of the order. I would imagine Mitch will right away slot him in at third or fourth in the order once he comes back. Kanoa Morisaki, a guy who fans certainly loved last season with his versatility. He could pitch, he could catch, but most importantly, he played shortstop, which is what the team really needed in that second half. And there's a couple local names, Joe Thornton, who was a lefty down the stretch, Carson Bozel, who dealt with some injuries kind of in the middle of the summer, but Apple Sox don't win the first half without him being kind of your 7th, 8th inning guy in a lot of ways. So a lot of familiar names who will be back, which has kind of been a staple under the Mitch Darlington era, is the guys he's brought back, and that includes his coaches for this coming season. Xander Orejudos will be his returning assistant coach, and then Quincy Vassar goes from the mound to coaching the pitchers on the mound this coming summer. So it's a really good fit, and I think the thing that's been such a success in Mitch's time has been the chemistry of players on the Apple Sox. So really looking forward to keeping up with how they do, because It's just such an easy team to root for with the way Mitch runs things.
It's not only that, but you mentioned the fact that he brings in good players who are good people, Joel. But it's also critically important that when you bring in the veterans, like you just talked about, they understand the culture and they can pass that on to the new players. Because who's kidding who in the West Coast League? Every team deals with a great deal of roster turnover, almost week to week. When you have that solid group of veterans bringing in with the newcomers, they understand Mitch's way of doing things and the culture of winning at the Apple Sox. That's critical, isn't it?
Yeah, turnover is the name of the game in summer collegiate baseball. You look at the team that was fielded in the final game of the first half last season, the team that took the field in the WCL championship game, and a lot of different looks to them. A lot of new guys were in there. There were a few familiar names. You had, Evan Cloyd was at first base both times. James Castagnola was at third. Different shortstop. Different outfielders as well. It was just a lot of different names who have to come and go, and the ability of teams to adapt to that change is what really separates the contenders from the pretenders. And Mitch has learned that lesson very well. His first season, he always talks about how he felt like the team at the end of the season, even though they reached the North Division championship game, the team wasn't fully representative of what the Apple Sox were really, were that summer in 2022, which was the best offensive team in the league. And they had a little trouble scoring runs down the stretch at times that year. But 2024, when he had to replace guys, he did. Elijah Palaio played every single game in the first half last year. You bring in Kanoa Morisaki once Palaio has to head home, and you don't miss a beat defensively. So Mitch's ability to connect with coaches and players and plug in those right replacements where he's needed is probably going to keep the Apple Sox contenders for as long as he remains the skipper.
And there's also the network that he has among the collegiate coaches who keep an eye out for players who might be interested to come to the Wenatchee Valley, and having a large umbrella of cell phones and it helps Mitch out a great deal because he has his collegiate coaches in his network basically recruiting for him in a lot of respects because the kids want to come here to the big city and play. It's a winning organization, and they do it the right way, and that kind of makes things pretty easy.
Oh, no doubt about that, Dan. I think one of the big things Mitch always brings up is that no one's busier on Twitter over the summer than he is. He said he reaches out to a lot of guys, sends direct messages just to say, hey, would you be interested in jumping in here? And just that ability to, it's like a good salesman, just the ability to maybe place that cold call sometimes, just the effort of doing that can go such a long way. So it's fun to see how much he enjoys the recruiting, both in season and out of season, because there's definitely stretches in the off season where, you think you have a team assembled and then maybe you have to plug in some new guys in place. But over the course of the summer, surprises come up. Injuries or coaches wanting their players maybe to shut down because, hey, they played a few more games than they anticipated. But that's the challenge and the excitement of recruiting. And Mitch was telling me one time he compares it to kind of being a fantasy football manager. You're constantly looking on the waiver wire. You're constantly dealing with, oh, shoot, this guy got injured unexpectedly. So in a way, it's kind of real-life fantasy sports for him. But getting to do that from the recruiting perspective.
And just like you mentioned, it's fun to call play-by-play for a winning organization. The players want to play for a winning organization. These are competitive athletes who want to apply their trade and get as far as they can in the game of baseball. They want to play for a winner.
Oh, no doubt about that. If you're just going out there to play or for yourself, then, hey, there's other teams in the league where sometimes that's what you can do. You can go out and that, hey, we're probably not going to get to the playoffs or we're probably not going to contend for a title, but hey, I can get my at-bats and I can hit 300 this summer. But guys come and stay with the Apple Sox because they want to win. I look back at last summer, and the one example I always bring up was Max Hartman. He's a guy who he played every single day with Washington State. He's pretty much played every single day with them this year as a junior with the Cougs, and he played almost every single day with the Apple Sox over the course of last summer. He's just a gamer. And guys who love to play every single day love to play for Mitch Darlington for that reason, because Mitch is a gamer too. It doesn't matter if it's a cold night in early June to open up the season, or maybe that 110-degree day in August near the end of the calendar. But he wants to win every game, and that's what's I think it's fun for players, because there's that mindset sometimes with summer collegiate baseball that it can be a little bit more relaxed, and hey, maybe tonight isn't as important as tomorrow because tomorrow's fireworks night, and tonight maybe there's only 300 people in the stands. No, every game's important. At the end of the day, every win counts the same, and every loss matters the same amount. So I love that about how Mitch has led the team in his 3 years, now going on the fourth season, where every game is important. Every night you have a chance to put on a show. And it certainly has showed through 3 campaigns.
Well, we got a whole bunch of new players coming in, and the list is too much to look at. I've been getting Joel's press releases and checking the website almost on a daily basis. So we don't have time to really mention all the newcomers. But like everything else, really kind of a holdover from the Ed Nags era, they're from all over the place, including the fertile ground of California. So we got some serious talent coming our way.
There's a lot of good players coming. And, some of the connections Mitch has been able to form, Grand Canyon is one he always brings up. We bring up some really good players. If maybe you're not familiar with Grand Canyon, they just had a guy who is in the majors right now. He was a first-round pick a couple of years ago, Jacob Wilson. And last summer, the Apple Sox got Cannon Peary and Garrett Ahern from Grand Canyon. There's a couple of really exciting players coming from that school in particular. Gunnar Penscover is one. He's a utility man, pitches and plays the outfield, who Mitch is really excited about. But it's fun to see these new names because right now, Dan, they are, in a lot of ways, nameless gray faces to us because we haven't seen them play yet. They don't stand out in the same way that the returners do, but it's so fun once you get a couple games in to see these guys in action and realize, hey, this guy can really play. And this is a household name, and maybe that name that's a blip on our releases over the course of the spring ends up being, maybe the most important player on the team once we get into June, July, and August. So I encourage fans, head over to applesox.com. Each week we're letting fans know new guys who are coming to this team, and it's going to be a lot of names you're going to have to learn over the course of the season because it's going to be another fun group to watch here that Mitch is putting together.
And the best recruiters of all are the players themselves. They play collegiate baseball. Come June, mid to late June, they're done with collegiate baseball. They come to Wenatchee. They play for the Apple Sox in the summer. Then they go back to school in late summer, early fall, and they say, what did you do this summer? And I said, I played for the Wenatchee Apple Sox, and it was a blast. It feeds on itself, doesn't it?
Oh, no doubt about it. You play for the Apple Sox. You play for the right coaching staff like what we have in place, and you get to get a good, true summer experience, both just from playing for the team, but also living in Wenatchee, having Chelan, Leavenworth nearby. It's a great fit for players. It's different. There's a lot of guys who come in and they go, okay, this is a little smaller than I anticipated, but we talk about it each season. They end the campaign and they've got tears in their eyes. They're realizing how special Wenatchee was to them and how much they're going to miss it because for so many of them, that 2.5-month season is the only time they ever will get to spend in Wenatchee.
Jose Oglesby is not an owner that everything is the bottom line. He loves baseball. He's a baseball fan. He took over the ownership and has built it into a winner, and he's invested not only with quality players and quality coaches and Mitch and his staff, but the field itself. We got the new scoreboard a couple of years ago at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium, and now as folks go through the turnstiles at the end of May, they're going to see a new field too, aren't they?
Absolutely. Jose, first off, is just so committed to both the Apple Sox and the Wenatchee Valley. And I think that was so true immediately after getting started with the team. 2021, he installed that brand new scoreboard as a donation for the Apple Sox and for Wenatchee Valley College. And I think both sides have really enjoyed it. And I think if you've been a fan who came to games before the scoreboard, now you come to them after it, boy, what a difference it makes. I mean, for me, just that first summer, 2021, once the scoreboard was in, I noticed such a difference from that year compared to my previous 2 years. And it's such a neat thing that for me, when we got installed, I thought, boy, we have to use this to our maximum capability just because of how special it was to have that. And then, of course, now the recent things. Jose fought really hard, as did the West Coast League with the state of Washington, to try and get some improvements to West Coast League facilities, able to get some funds raised through the state, and we're so grateful that we were able to get some improvements to Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. Really have to thank Brad Hawkins as well for really helping make that possible, but the infield is going to look very different. I think anyone who can recall games over the first 24 seasons, and you're smiling as I say it too because you know where I'm going, the rocky infield, a ground ball to the left side might bounce up a little higher than expected. Many is the circumstance over the course of a season, Dan, where we'd see the slow roller that suddenly hits that wrong rock and bounces up about throat high. So that has been leveled, and hopefully a lot of that has been corrected. I know Wenatchee Valley College has really enjoyed playing on it, but the biggest thing fans will notice isn't necessarily in between first and third base itself, although that has been leveled and completely redone. What they're going to really notice is the area in foul territory, third base and first base sides. That's all been turfed out. So it's going to be a nice bright green, whether it's May 30th or August 13th. So It's going to be nice and bright green. That's all turf. Home plate itself is turf, which has taken a beating over the years between both the Apple Sox and the Wenatchee Valley College seasons. So this is an effort for the Apple Sox to keep that traditional baseball feel, the grass and dirt playing field, but also that foul territory, which sometimes, as you know, Dan, the way the sun sets, it's a little tricky to get the lighting that you want on there sometimes, and maybe get the grass and the dirt to sustain themselves as well as they would like. So this is going to keep that area a little bit better. The dugouts have been redone. There's railing there, so no longer will those screaming line drives, ankle high, maybe clip your shoes and have to leap up in the air to get out of the way. But this is just another effort to continue to modernize Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. It is, I always say, it's a fantastic place to watch a baseball game. From an unbiased standpoint, I always invite people, watch the game from where I do when you come to Paul Thomas Senior Stadium, and tell me you've had a better view at a baseball game at the summer collegiate or even college level. It's a fantastic spot to end a summer night on another beautiful day in Wenatchee, and Jose has been so committed to trying to keep it modern and also just continue to give the proper facility for both our players and for our fans.
Yeah, you can't get closer to home plate in any ballpark in the West Coast League than you can at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. You are right there. Opening day is May 30th. Season tickets on sale right now. Season game tickets are on sale as well with all the usual deals. You can buy a bucket of single game tickets and pick and choose which games you want to go with our old friends, the Yakima Valley Pippins, kicking things off on May 30th. 30 home games this year. And I hate to cut this short, Joel, but we have to close on a personal note. For you folks heading to Paul Thomas Senior Stadium or listening to Joel on the Apple Sox Radio Network, you're moving onward and upward, Joel. We won't be seeing you here in the big city this summer.
Yeah, I've taken this year off. You know, I did the previous 6 seasons for the team, 2018 through 2024, and this is something I've been kind of thinking about for the last couple of seasons. I've loved my time with the Apple Sox. I've been blessed to find Wenatchee. I was blessed to receive an offer to work for the team from Jim Corcoran right out of college, but I think it was just the right time for me to move on personally. As much as I would love to be doing baseball, both for the Apple Sox or all this summer, I also realized, as we were kind of talking about before, the transition from baseball season into hockey season and traveling across the country through a few time zones twice a year, it's just it's worn a little bit on me. And I'm trying to, I'm not old by any means, but I'm 29, and I'm trying to best serve myself to not suffer burnout, because I think burnout is extremely common in my industry. Many people my age, I think they really come out of college ready to go and just ready to, do everything they can. And doing things halfway isn't exactly my personality. And I think for me, it's either you're all in or you're going to step aside and take a break. And for me right now, I felt it a lot last season. I felt some fatigue. I love the season. I love what we do. I love trying to put out the best product possible. And I felt we did do that in my time with the Apple Sox. And I know the team will, even with me no longer part of it. But I just realized for myself, it would be good to take some time off. I don't usually do a very good job of that for myself. I usually am just always fixated on when the next game is. But, this summer I'm looking forward to taking a little bit more time personally, having a summer to go on some trips, to spend time with family and friends and just kind of relax a little bit more, where I have to kind of teach myself that still a little bit, Dan, but I'm looking forward to a new challenge, and that's resting a little bit more and just staying a little bit more fresh so I can get back into hockey season. I think anyone who knows me knows my preference is baseball, and it always will be. But for right now, hockey kind of allows me the opportunity to live maybe a more normal life, right? We play Friday and Saturday, and then I can kind of be a normal guy during the rest of the week and be able to still do stuff with other people.
Well, speaking personally, I'm going to miss you, but we'll be in touch. It's not like, we're not going to see each other at all, Joel. Best of luck. Go Lincoln Stars. I hope you're working deep into May, calling play-by-play for the Lincoln Stars. And Joel, anytime you want to pop on just to talk baseball or hockey or Pittsburgh Penguins hockey, even though they suck, love to have you on, all right?
Well, thank you very much, Dan. Thank you guys for your coverage. You, Eric, and everyone at the NCWLIFE crew. I hope you guys enjoy this summer. I'll be keeping tabs on the team from far away, but definitely will miss summer nights at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium.
Storm and Joel Norman, the former broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Applesauce gets the summer off for the first time since he was a teenager, and I'm darn proud of you. Joel, take care, my friend, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, Dan.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Jeff Dunham, artificial intelligence, his all-new tour.
Jeff Dunham. You're the other white meat.
How can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other? Well, you're half of it. I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss them. Friday, April 25th, Town Toyota Center. Tickets on sale now only at jeffdunham.com.
Welcome to Gilded Lily Home, where something extraordinary is waiting. You'll be delighted to find an amazing selection of specialty foods and tabletop decor. Browse their uniquely curated collection of gifts. Shop for yourself in their wide collection of jewelry and clothing, and for your home with their amazing hand-selected furniture, lighting, and decor. The Gilded Lily Home, where you can step in for inspiration and leave with beautiful items for your home, your kitchen, and your lifestyle.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether.
We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
All right, if you'll indulge me for just a little bit, I dropped by the Cakes for College, the funnel cake booth at the Memorial Park Food Fair to visit with my good friends, including Bob Payne and his son, who started this whole thing all these many years ago. And I let Bob know how much I'm going to miss his sister, the oldest of the Payne siblings, Sharon, who was one of my teachers back in the 70s at Orchard Junior High. She passed away about a month ago at the age of 80. Anyway, I was talking to Bob and the rest of the Payne family, and they reminded me of you know, drop by the Cakes for College booth and help those folks out who pay for a lot of tuitions. But also, the contest was yesterday. So here's the funnel cake contest shirt. They had one of those deals where you have to eat the funnel cake as fast as you can, and I don't think they let you use your hands. I'm not 100% sure on that. I promised him I'd give him a little plug, so there you go, guys. There you go. Again, the contest was yesterday during Pepsi-Cola Youth Day, but I wanted to give a shout out to my good friend and my good friends, the Payne family. Gonna be windy. It started yesterday, gonna be windy today, gonna be windy tonight, gonna be windy tomorrow most of the day. We're gonna see some sunshine for the most part, but there will be some wind gusts that you need to be aware of. I think we can safely call it windy. They're calling it breezy. I would call it windy when you see wind gusts at about 25 miles an hour. We did have one yesterday afternoon. It was about 40 miles an hour, pretty close to it. Anyway, we're not going to see wind gusts that strong, but it's going to be pretty consistent. And every once in a while, especially afternoon tonight, and on into Tuesday, before it dies down Tuesday night, it's going to be quite windy at times. Here's your forecast. Sunshine this morning. The clouds will be thickening up this afternoon. And by sunset tonight, around 8 o'clock tonight, it will be fairly cloudy and quite windy at times. No real chance of rain tonight, just a slight chance of rain. Still windy. Overnight low of 50, not 30. That's an oops. Tuesday, we do the opposite. We'll see clouds in the morning, sun in the afternoon, and wind all day, and a high of about 68, and then things get pretty darn nice. Wednesday, wind dies down just a little bit. We'll have high pressure, 73 to 77 to 80 on Friday before the Stamil Growers Grand Parade on Saturday. It's going to cloud up and be a little breezy too, but beggars can't be choosers. That's it for us. Start your day tomorrow with us. Till then, bye-bye.